Okay, we're looking at exercise 11B from the first year mechanics textbook. So we've got a question and we're given an expression for the displacement. And then we want the distance between the points when the printhead is instantaneously at rest. Okay, so we've had this before. So instantaneously at rest is when the velocity is 0. So if I've got the displacement and I need the velocity, I'm going to differentiate. So let's crack on with that. So displacement is, where am I looking there? So now that quarter actually isn't going to affect anything. I'm going to multiply through by the quarter when I write it down. I think that might just be a bit clearer. But actually, you could just leave the quarter there because that's not going to affect your differentiating. Okay. Okay, right. So double check I've done that correctly. So I've done 40 cubed times a quarter, which is just t cubed. 15 over 4, 12 over 4 gives me 3, and then I've just left the 30 over 4. Okay. But it would be absolutely fine. You could just differentiate that, so the expression, the brackets as it is, and then keep the quarter as a coefficient out front. That would work absolutely fine. Okay, so velocity is going to be the differential of that. So 3t squared minus, if I multiply that through by 2, it will become 15 over 2. 3t, oh, I'm going to say, let's try that again. So the 3t will just differentiate to 3 and the 30 over 4 will differentiate to nothing. Okay, so when is that instantaneously at rest? Well, that's when the velocity is 0. And we will just stick that straight into the calculator. So quadratic solve mode, 3 minus 7.5 and 3. And we get t is 2 and t is a half. Okay, so they're the 2 points when it's instantaneously at rest. It wants the distance between those 2 points. So I'm going to just use those 2 values of t to work out the displacement at each point in time, and then the distance between the points will be the difference between those 2 answers. So when t is 2, s is going to be 2 cubed minus 15 over 4 times 2 squared plus 3 times 2 plus 30 over 4. I'll get that in a second. And then when t is a half, this will be a half cubed minus 15 over 4 times a half squared plus 3 times a half plus 30 over 4. Okay, so just quickly type that in. So t cubed minus okay, so that's giving me 6.5. I will double check these answers again at the end because I've messed something up. Okay, so let's just change those 2's to halves. Okay, let's just check that. Right, so that's giving me, let's just put it in 8.1875. So, assuming I've entered those correctly, the distance between the 2 points would be 1.6875. And I think if we check the question again, it did say to 1 decimal place. So that would be 1.7. And I was just checking for units. Oh, sorry. Go back to here. So 1.7 because it wanted it to 1 decimal place, and it did say that the displacement was in centimeters. Let's just check that. Brilliant.